When you were saying biased, we've also heard that Bhai only comes on the stage and repeats what
he's saying.
I just want to, I mean, whoever knows Salman Khan, it's not possible to make him say anything that he doesn't believe in, right?
Tanya Mittal, I don't
Tanya
know how
is-
you guys found her.
I think she's been the find of the.
Season for sure.
So you keep putting them in situations through tasks, through ration, through all of that. But our interference with the housemates or the show that gets made, he wants to push me, he can always push me saying, "Nahi,
Lena hi hai."
till
Haan.
date, he has not done that. He's always been that you guys meet, evaluate. He also understands that there is a monetary aspect to. I was having a discussion with the team today and we were discussing next year casting for some of the people that we met that we find interesting.
Team, like, do you all follow social media, the memes that comes out?
We enjoy them. Everybody keeps asking me and the team, who's your favorite contestant? I said we don't have a favorite contestant. If we have a favorite contestant, then we obviously will get biased.
You're busting so many myths that people have about Bigg Boss. When you think of reality shows, the first name that comes in your mind is Bigg Boss, and we have with us Rishi Negi, the CEO of Banijay Asia, who's taking the legacy ahead with season 19. How does it feel, Rishi, when you've put in so much of hard work and the season is working? Because as we were talking about it, there's no surety of how it will all
Absolutely.
pan out. Tell me, when you get so much love for a season, for a show like Bigg Boss, how does that feel?
I think it's you know, like you rightly were mentioning, every year we wait with a lot of anticipation as to how the audiences will react to the show. This show, we make it with a lot of love, with a lot of hard work. There are a lot of people who work behind the scene on putting it all together. And when it works, it just makes you like a very proud mother.
Yeah.
And you feel very happy because you've delivered to the expectations that people have from the show. So our pressure is because 19th season and year on year you have a season coming out, you have to make sure that the show delivers to the expectations of the consumers, because today consumers have become very fickle, right? And they do not take more than a minute to diss or like something. So it's a great feeling when the season works.
Yeah. And of course, you all kind of channeled into OTT and TV. Of course, we'll get to the casting later, but I wanted to ask you, I'm sure you've heard this millions of times, that the show is often labeled as scripted. Tell me, Rishi, how much of it is organic and how much is it producer driven?
Okay, so I just want to clarify one thing, and you know, this is a very interesting thing because we've heard this from earlier seasons, and that is the reason we went with a very clear thought in terms of the theme for the year, theme for 2019, which was democracy, which is घरवालों की सरकार. अभी जो भी अंदर decisions होते हैं वो they are the ones who are taking it. You would have hardly seen Bigg Boss ever coming in or trying to influence a decision or putting his mandate on something. We are leaving everything to the gharwalas. And I think that has also made it very interesting for the viewers to see. And as a format, you know, this format is a social experiment. We have no interaction with the housemates. एक बारी वो घर, once they're inside the house, we have no interaction at all, right? Our only thing is about the task that we put, the kind of responses we hope that they will give. So you keep putting them in situations through tasks, through ration, through all of that. But our interference with the housemates or the show that gets made is zero.
Okay. That's interesting.
And you know, if you see, the only time that when Salman Khan is on the stage is when he is giving the feedback to them as to what they've done right or what they've done wrong, where they've gone. Otherwise, it's a completely unscripted reality show with zero interference from producers. Everybody keeps asking me and the team, who's your favorite contestant? I said we don't have a favorite contestant. If we have a favorite contestant, then we obviously will get biased. So for us, it's about, because everybody is giving content, because everybody has a contribution in the house.
Even during the eviction, there's a lot of conversation that is it really primarily just the numbers of vote, or does the programming team, the production or the channel, or even Salman Khan have a hand on in this?
So nobody has a hand on eviction. It's only on votes.
Yeah.
And the votes are on Jio Cinema, on Jio Hotstar now, and basis that is the eviction which is done. So there is no interference because they also have audit processes within their organization. So you cannot go away from the mandate of the audiences.
Right.
As a programmer or as a creative or as a producer, you can't have a say on going against the audience vote.
Right. But Rishi, also it's very interesting that Salman is often called biased, or when he schools a contestant, they're like, he doesn't like him, he hates him. How much of it is a producer's stance, or is it completely his opinion? Because of course he must be briefed about what has happened through the week. So tell me about that interaction with Salman, how he is briefed about the happenings of the week, and what stand does he take on stage?
So Salman, whenever he is he tries to catch episodes. Obviously, if he's not able to watch, when he is there with us on the weekend, he goes through hour and a half to take him through all the big points which have happened in the house. So he sees all of them being played out. He has a lot of people that he knows who watch the show, who call him, give him feedback. So obviously, he has a huge buy-in on what's happening on the house, what's happening with the contestant. He has a point of view. We as the creators of the show have a point of view in terms of how we are viewing it. We also have a lot of audience feedback that keeps pouring in. So putting all of that together is how we stitch the weekend together, right? And finally, like everybody, when you were saying biased, we've also heard that Bhai only comes on the stage and repeats what he's I just want to, whoever knows Salman Khan, it's not possible to make him say anything that he doesn't believe in, right? So, and this time we made it as a very collaborative effort with him to make sure that, if I'm saying that you were rude to me or you misbehaved with me, he's seeing it himself, okay, what was the interaction and what happened. So he knows exactly what's happened, he knows exactly what the point is. He has his own point of view on whether that particular thing is right or wrong. We discuss, debate, and then we go on the floor.
Of course. And there's always this conversation around how much money is he taking for the show. Can you confirm, is it 10 crore per day?
So, broadly, genuinely this contract is between him and JioStar now.
Yeah.
So, I am not privy to that. But whatever is the rumor, whatever it is, he's worth every penny. So
absolutely.
For me, as long as he's there on my weekend, I'm a happy person.
Right. But Rishi, he's often heard saying that he doesn't want to do the show anymore. Last season, they actually had to convince me. Does it also become a task, like before Bigg Boss announces, to go ahead and meet Salman and convince him, or it's just a joke that he has, an internal joke between you?
No, I think there have been seasons where, post which he's felt that he doesn't want to do the show. But I think now even he has a huge emotional connect with this show, and that you see it playing out when he's on stage, because the way he gets involved in a discussion, or the way he gets involved in a mudda, as we call it, is because it comes from within, right? So I think while some seasons where he has been like can't do anymore, but I think till now we've been lucky that he's always said yes. But before we go, even before the show starts, much earlier we go sit with him, talk to him, brief him on the broadcasting that we're doing, all of that.
Does he also give you a suggestion of contestants?
He does. He does.
Wow.
He does.
That's news.
And he does, but he's very clear. You guys meet, you guys see if it works for you, then you take it, because obviously he also understands that the show is bigger than everything else. So he will come up with some ideas. Hey, why don't you talk to this person? Or I met this person at a recent party. Why don't you reach out to them? So he does come up with suggestions.
That also shows the love that he has for the show.
He does.
He's so involved.
He is absolutely involved. He's absolutely involved. And the best part is where he keeps this distance of, see, Salman Khan, he wants to push me, he can always push me saying, "Nahi, till date he has not done that." He's always been that you guys meet, evaluate. He also understands that there is a monetary aspect to the contestant. So he says, figure that out, and if he's fitting, please, he or she is fitting, then put them in the house.
Amazing, amazing. Also, Rishi, in a time when reality shows are getting redundant, Bigg Boss has managed to stay relevant. I mean, 19 season, that's a record in itself. Tell me, what is it about Bigg Boss that people come and watch it year after year?
So I have a very strong belief, I mean, I think human beings, as we are very voyeuristic in our very basic approach in life, or the basic instinct in life, and Indians more so, right? When I was growing up, when you're living in a colony which has different houses, जब भी लास्ट वाले घर में भी झगड़ा होता था ना, सबको पता करना था कि हो क्या रहा होता था. उसी टाइम पे हमारी कॉलोनी के सब बच्चे, अंकल, आंटी, everybody would find a reason to go past that house to hear half bit or 1/3 bit, right? And I think it's the fun of being a fly on the wall, watching very well-known faces, celebrities, going through this turmoil in isolation while you are having fun. I mean, people when they are going in or when they are in the casting process, मेरे को खाने से फर्क नहीं पड़ता है यार, मतलब it's okay. Then you see them fighting for a bowl of dal because because the world changes. Because you have no access to news, you have no access to phone, you have no access to friends, you have no access to family. You are isolated.
Of course.
And watching that is the fun of the show.
You're right.
And I think the other part, that's happened very differently, at least in India, is when you have a big celebrity like Salman Khan coming on the weekend. That brings a different flavor. And that's why across all our languages, whether it's Telugu, we have Naksar, Tamil, we have Vijay Sethupathi now. In Malayalam, we have Lal Sir. Marathi, we have Ritesh. So I'm saying all these are big stars who bring a certain flavor, a certain pull on their own towards the show. So the entire 7-day become a very interesting thing. Like I think everybody who follows Bigg Boss actually waits weekend ke baar pe kya hoga, right? That's a big thing. Okay, fine. I've seen this 5 days. I've seen them behave the way they have behaved. So I think the broad premises is you want to see a bunch of known faces, celebrities going through this, up and down in life, and sometimes fighting at very trivial matters.
Of course. So. Yeah. Because also Weekend Kawara, you rightly mentioned, I think it's also a validation of what they are thinking. When Salman agrees to that, that's a treat for them. Otherwise, of course, we know.
See, there'll always be 2 points of view. There'll always be 2 points of view, and I think that is what makes the show very interesting, because you and I in real life might watch an interaction and have 2 different polarizing opinions towards the same thing, right? And I think that is what makes it more fun, because and everybody believes what I'm seeing is right.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
My perspective is always right. And for us as makers, it becomes very important to show a completely unbiased, balanced thing to the viewers. So, because we are not sitting to say this is right or that is right.
True.
So, you're showing both sides of the story, let people decide. Like if Bashir and Praneeth are fighting. Now, if that fight happens, that's a fight.
Yeah.
Now, some people will feel Praneeth was right, some people will feel Bashir was right. And I think this makes the show more fun.
Right. And also the casting process, Rishi, tell me about it. What goes, like 3 months before the show, there are names that goes on air. People are talking about who should be there, who shouldn't be there. There is also accusation that you guys pick up people who have like controversial image. How is the process of casting people and also getting a lot that would create a certain kind of synergy in that show? How do you figure out who needs to go in which season?
I think for this show, one major ingredient or a major factor for a season being successful or for it to work is the casting, right? Because you're talking about 105 days, you're going to watch a bunch of people. And for us, this becomes the most rigorous exercise This actually runs for close to 6 months.
Wow.
That casting process starts. We meet multiple people from across, obviously celebrities, because we do a celebrity Bigg Boss version. You meet multiple hundreds of people. I think the team would have met for this season close to, if I'm not wrong, close to 500 people.
Wow.
Right? And sometimes we travel, sometimes they come, we go across the country to search for people. And for, like I was telling you, for us, the casting is about casting characters.
Yeah.
You have to be very, very clear that I'm just not casting names. You said something about controversial people. I don't think there's even one controversial person in the house this year.
Right.
And it doesn't impact my viewership, right? There are very interesting characters.
Yeah.
You can see people who are very different in their nature, their approach, their language, their way of life. And that is the fun of it. When you have such a diverse group which is there in one confined space, is where you will get great content.
Right, right. But do you have a process of auditioning? Because right now there's so
We
many
do.
fake casting calls also happening. But what is the process like? Meetings, auditions, the video shoots, how does it
So
work
for
out?
us, whenever a person is actually being auditioned, it is either through a video call where you can see the Bigg Boss team, or in person.
Okay.
Yes, there are some phone calls which will happen as the prelim part of it to understand availability, understand interest, etc., etc. But the interviews are all either physical on premise or wherever it's convenient, or on a video call.
Right, right.
And it's a very extensive, it's a 2-3 layered process that the person has to go through, or the contestant has to go through.
But what are the set of questions? Just being curious, what are the kind of questions that you ask these people?
I think the questions are not about, see, you can't understand anybody in say 4-5 hours, right? The questions are more to understand how do they react, what do they do in situations,
Right.
what is their safe place, what is their unsafe place, what is their place, how do they react to anything that happens with them. And it happens over long period and multiple times because it's not an acting
It's not,
audition, right? You're trying to assess. If you are telling me that I'm a very calm person, right? In every situation, I'm extremely calm, I don't react. But I want to see, because if I believe that, yes, there is something more to it, and if I know that, nahin boss, she's just putting on a facade.
Yeah.
So then the questions go in a way to understand your real personality. Because it's only about personality.
Right, right. But also, Rishi, there's this conversation that people have that there are certain contestants who have a minimum contract. Is that true? Does that happen?
Minimum contract as an MG.
MG, yeah, that they'll at least
There is
stay
no
for a while.
MG per se, because they have a weekly compensation that they get paid. Because see, MGs become very difficult in this, because you might be a very big celebrity, but you could get voted out on the second week. So that financial exposure is, and if you have an MG, then you will not be involved in the house, because then you know,
Be safe, yeah.
yaar main to safe hu, or I'll at least get my money. So we don't give MGs, we keep away from MGs only because of that.
See, you're busting so many myths that people have about Bigg Boss. Right now, there's also this trend about exes kind of coming and speaking on podcast with the hope that they'll get called for Bigg Boss just to add drama. Does your team also look into all of this, and do they also sometimes maybe feel that maybe that could just go ahead and add to the flavor of the show?
I think we've done it in one season when Munawwar was there. It did happen. I think people have seen that season and they think that now the team is only looking at that angle.
Yeah.
Right? We're not looking at that angle all the time. All right? It's not, it about with Munawwar, there was a particular story thread and that fit in. That's why she was bought in.
Right.
Right? And we got a great story from then on
course.
between Munawwar and her. But that's not something we are looking at. I mean, there are multiple people who, once the casting is announced, once they go in the house, casting agents will call and say this one had an affair with him, wants to go in. But that's not the
yeah.
agenda. I mean, that'll just throw the balance off.
Yeah, and it becomes so predictable also.
Yeah, and I don't. You don't want to see it every time, right? It's happened in that season because it happened with Isha and Samarth and Abhishek, right? So it played out over there also. So I think one season is good enough for that.
And contestants often complain कि पता नहीं मुझे कैसा दिखा रहे हैं बाहर. Editing also plays an important part, Rishi, because it's a 1 hour episode. Of course, fans are watching 24/7. But how much of an editing plays in terms of how a character is being portrayed? Because many times people feel that मुझे villain दिखा रहे हैं.
I truly believe that it's impossible. If you are behaving in a certain manner, you are there for 105 days, right? If somebody wants to be biased, they can be biased with you in 1 episode.
Right.
2 episodes. They can't change your nature across episodes, right? So it's actually the way you are is what gets shown.
Right.
And luckily now we have 24/7, right? So people who genuinely, there are a lot of fans who watch that on a regular basis.
Right.
We can't hide, editors can't hide, my showrunner can't hide the real personality of a person.
Yeah.
वो निकल ही आती है.
Right.
वो निकल आती है.
Right. And do you also have do you take measures to kind of protect their mental health, or is it you have them speaking to their doctors maybe before the show and after the show, or do they have that provision inside the show that when they need maybe someone to talk to?
So, before anybody goes into the house, there is a physical, array of tests that they have to go through because obviously, 105 days. Plus, we have a psychiatrist who does an evaluation, a psych evaluation with all of them. There have been times where they have said, no, we don't think this person is fit to go into the house and we should avoid. We have avoided that. Also, if somebody gets into a kind of a need, that our psychiatrist is available 24/7. So we have like a doctor all the time.
Seen that.
A doctor who's there. We have a psychiatrist on call all the time. If there is any incident which needs to be addressed, he will address it. He will evaluate and say somebody's had a breakdown, right? He will evaluate whether that person is fit enough to continue or would need to be removed from the house. So we don't take those calls because finally we're making a show. We can't play with people's lives. Yeah.
Amazing. But also there's this constant fights and abuses that a lot of parents now feel that it's not fit for their kids to watch it. Because I remember when Bigg Boss 1 came in, we were watching it as a family. Do you see that cultural shift that has happened with this show?
So I think we are very, very careful with the language that goes on air. We also keep correcting them in the house whenever there is excessive use of abuses. But obviously, if you and me are living in a confined space, the way we speak naturally will at times come out, and we make sure that all that is removed or beeped, or so that it doesn't interfere with the family viewing. Even while it's going on OTT, there are no abuses that go on air. There is, obviously people assume because they try and lip read and say, oh, isne ye bola.
Right. But when I remember when Rise and Fall came in, people were saying that it got bigger faces than Bigg Boss.
Yes.
Rishi, what was the idea behind it? And does it get difficult for a production house because they have 2 shows, both great shows, and both need like good faces? How do you kind of pick it? Who needs to go where?
I think, even whenever you are, picking faces or you're choosing people, there are 2 elements to that. One, like I said, which is the creative part of it, which is also, how interesting the character is, how we see him play out for a longer period of time. Over there, the lensing was very different. It's the first season. You're trying to establish property in the country. So you have to obviously you need bigger faces to get the pull in. Look at more as how people will play the game rather than survive. Right? So very different way. There were times when there were overlaps between both the shows, both the teams pointing at somebody, but it was kept away as a completely different structures. While it's within the same organization, Team A didn't know from Team B as to what the discussions were.
Okay, wow. And how, as a team, like, do you all follow social media, the memes that comes out?
We enjoy them.
I'm sure, but what about the trolls? How do you deal with that? Do you also take this as like maybe constructive criticism and work on that? Does that happen?
Absolutely. I think, like I was telling it's not only about the trolling. I think that trolling is part of everybody's life now, and people will troll you whether you take Rasta A or Rasta B. But we very strongly listen to the consumers. So every year at the end of the season, we have a research that gets conducted. We go to, I think, across 12 or 15 centers across India, where they conduct qualitative interviews. They come back with those results to us. We evaluate them, and like I was saying, we heard a lot last year, biased, scripted, biased. हमने बोला थीम ही ऐसी बनाओ जहाँ पे तुम इंटरफेयर ही ना कर पाओ. Like as a creator, we wanted to create a kind of a wall. So even if you want to, you can't do anything, right? If you see this year, the narrative has also been very. It's not only about fights. It's not about whether two people are only fighting is what being shown. It's about picking up different emotions, showing all sides of. People enjoy all kind of content. People enjoy comedy. People enjoy love. People enjoy romance. It's.
But was it also a conscious thought to keep away from television faces, regular television faces, which colors often gets accused कि colors का बेटा, colors की बेटी, colors face is getting more mileage. Was that a conscious thought, Rishi?
Not really. I think for TV we were looking at some interesting. I mean, because this was, like I said, OTT first, digital first approach. So obviously we looked at people from the wider net, and that's how Zishan, who's a very interesting character, or a Kunika came out. But we have Gaurav, who's one of the biggest faces on television. We have Ashnur, who's also a very big face on television. We have Abhishek, who's very big on television. But obviously we didn't want to make it very television heavy. We also wanted to have representation of across all platforms. So you have Mridul, who's a big YouTuber. You have Aveez Nagma. You had Aveez and Nagma who were very big on the influencer side. You have
Tanya Mittal. I don't know how you guys found her.
I think she's been the find of the
season for sure.
Very interesting person. So that again is, you're not casting her because of her being a digital influencer, right? You're casting her because of very interesting person.
Absolutely.
Right? We got Praneeth, very interesting person, very different background, very non-reality, kind of a person, and you're throwing him in the mix.
Right.
So I think it's Bashir, who's done a lot of reality shows, who comes from that grain, and Amal. I think getting Amal, we really wanted to get Amal because when we met Amal, and like he has said on the stage, and what Bhai has also said, his story was about people don't know me. Right? And he's composed some great songs, but he's always been in the background. Right? So we thought that's a great story. I think that's a great story. That's a great story of a very well-known name, but an unknown face.
That's
so getting that out in the front, we were scared that, sometimes people say it, but that doesn't play out when you are in front of the cameras. But Amal has been outstanding. He's been out there. He's been out there.
3 things tell me about Bigg Boss that we don't know.
I think the hard work that we do behind the scene.
Now we're getting a whiff of it.
There are close to 700 people who work on the set on a 24-hour cycle. On the weekends, there are close to 900 people who work on the set. It's while what you see is the front of the house. The back of the house, there is, I think our production team, the kind of work that they do is outstanding because everything has to be seamless, right? You can't have a second of a glitch. You come from the space, so you'll understand. You can't have one camera go down. You can't have one whisper not being caught. So there is a lot of hard work that goes behind across all teams, from our creative team, the production team. That is one. I think the second is also, the emotions that we go through when we are making the show is you can't feel it from the outside. As a viewer, you will always have a point of view कि अच्छा episode था या खराब episode था, but उसके जो पीछे काम होता है, I think that's something people. I mean, I think last year you had come across and seen the behind the scenes of what happens. It's a
Absolutely. And tell me also about, there's so much curiosity about what happens during weekend cover. We've read about interviews about you guys kind of working on the security for Salman after all the threats happened. How's the vibe on the weekend cover when Salman is shooting?
I think with Salman, all of us, I think because it's been so many years, most of the team members have been there for years. We all have a great relationship with him. He as a person is a very welcoming person, while he has a different persona outside. So whenever he's there, most of the time when he's like, before we go on the floor, we have lunch with him. He sits with the team. He has lunch with us. He sees that entire 1.5 hour clip with us, discusses the episodes. So and he's a great guy to work with, right? He goes on the floor, and trust you me, for the next 4.5, 5 hours, 6 hours, he doesn't get off the floor. He doesn't take a break. He doesn't get off the stage. And I sometimes find it amazing. I mean, how he does it.
Right.
And you have to be continuously involved, and you can't be. आप line नहीं बोल सकते, because when you say something, there is a reaction. To the reaction, you have a
of course,
rebuttal, right? So all that goes on. So with such an intense thing, see, it's very unlike a singing show or a dancing show that somebody is dancing, then you have a point of view, and then you're sitting and watching and waiting for the next. Here it's constant role, constant role. He's great fun to work with. He's great fun to work with. He is, I mean, besides his, external persona, we find it's always great to work with him.
Yeah. And are you guys planning to get audiences back on weekend cover? No. Yeah. What's the future looks like for Bigg Boss? Because every time the show comes, people feel कि अब break le lena chahiye. But what's the conversation like in your creative room about the future of Bigg Boss?
I think for us, it's only about how do I get the next language of Bigg Boss out. So right now we do Bigg Boss Hindi, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada. From next year we'll be starting Bengali.
Bengali was there
earlier, but we're restarting that. For us, it's always about how do I make this season the best season.
Right.
And I truly believe 19th season, 20th season, 21st season, you have a big advantage that people know the brand.
Yeah.
People will give you a viewing. It's about how interestingly you cast and create the show.
Right.
We have a big advantage of familiarity. While some feel, "Arey, bahut time ho gaya," but for a lot of people, like I know a lot of people like who this year have called me and said, after 2-3 years, I'm watching the show again. I'm loving it. I am loving it. I've had audiences, younger audiences, where we've got emails, phone calls saying that, we love the show. For them, they're 18, 19, right? They're watching the show for the first time. For them, see, we are a very big country. I mean, we are a country of 1.5 billion people. So we have enough and more people. Like I was telling you, like my mother at 83 watches this show. My daughter at 18 watches this show. So I think our audience is so diverse, and we have to be very careful with how we, what kind of content we put out. It can't be a singular emotion show. This is you're putting a bunch of people, you're expecting all kind of emotions. You're not expecting that you and I will go and fight. Then I might as well put a boxing match, right?
Absolutely. Lastly, Rishi, I wanted to ask you, social experiment or TRP driven circus, how would you define Bigg Boss?
Social experiment.
Okay.
For me, very, very clearly, the day I become obsessed by TRP, I will not be able to make an interesting show.
Okay.
I think none of us know which show will get the TRP or not get the TRP. It's about making a very interesting
Right.
show. Putting out threads, putting out storylines, putting out characters that you will connect to. I mean, like you go to watch a film. Every filmmaker puts the same kind of effort, if not more or less. Why does something work? Why does something not work?
Right.
I always give that example. Like you look at Sayara. Nobody expected that Sayara will become such a... But it has a very core emotion which connected to the youth. You had a victory over there.
Yeah.
So it's about putting great content, being very clear that this show is not about a singular emotion. This is not a show only about comedy or laughter or crying or fighting. It's about all the emotions put together.